Hello everybody. Many thanks for keeping on joining our webinar series about Python parts or for ALLPLAN software. It's me, Ming again. So in the previous webinar, I shared in detail about how to use our Python part word reinforcement for word reinforcement in ALLPLAN software. And many questions were sent to my email. And I tried to answer almost of them. Thank you for your interest in. And so many required for the next webinar is for column reinforcement by Python part. So today I decided to give you information about how to use our column reinforcement Python part in ALLPLAN software. So firstly, we will learn some information about column reinforcement. And because you may know, I will share it shortly. And then I will show you how to use the column reinforcement Python part to create full reinforcement for a column. And during the presentation, you can send me all of your questions or requirements. We will try to answer right then, or if it's necessary, I will answer them in a Q&A session. What is the column reinforcement Python part? A column reinforcement is a feature of our built-in reinforcement package that lets you create, update, and modify reinforcement for column in ALLPLAN software. Placement, rebars, stirrups, and some extras rebar for column based on the rule that you set in your friendly interface of configurations. And main rebars may have a hook or coupler. And stirrup may be defined with many sets. Extra rebar can also be created. And column reinforcement Python part can also help you to quickly create section and label for column. So with the powerful function, column reinforcement Python part can help you save a lot of time from reinforcement to creating section with label and also avoid mistakes. So I don't let you to wait long. So now I will open ALLPLAN software and try to create reinforcement for the column. I will try with simple reinforcement first, so we can be easy to understand and follow. So we share my entire screen. Okay, as you can see here, I have ALLPLAN 2022, and this is our built-in reinforcement Python part package. And this is the column reinforcement Python part. So firstly, I will try to create reinforcement for this simple square column. I will click to the column reinforcement Python part icon to open the column Python part interface. And firstly, I will go to setting, where we can define the language here and the unit here. And the language and unit can be added more into our Python parts with your requirement. So as you can see here, in a general tab, we have two options to create reinforcement and a normal reinforcement here, or this option create as a Python part element with the position name here. Create as a Python part element with a position name will help you to have ability to double click to open the Python part and modify it later So here I will go to the stirrup tab here and define the stirrup, like stirrup parameter here, hook length, hook angle, and concrete cover. And as you can see here in the left side, we have ability to add 3 placement for the stirrup spacing, as you can see with the different spacing. And next, I will go to the corner tab here to define the parameter for corner rebar, like diameter, corner. And the corner rebar can be created a straight bar or granite. I will show you how to create the ground corner bar ladder. Just begin with the straight rebar. Starter length, hook length, hook angle if necessary, and the hook for the bottom of the corner rebar. I don't need here, so I will set here 0 and offset 0 too. And the same for the side tab. We will define number of side rebar here, diameter, and define to create straight without hook. So to create reinforcement for a column, we will click to this button. To create reinforcement for any 3D object, we can click to this button. Or to create reinforcement for all the column with one click, we will click to this button. First, try with this button, create reinforcement for a column. You can see. As you can see, the corner rebar with hook, the stirrup with different placement, and if you want to create reinforcement for the next column, just click to this column. So as you can see here, the column reinforcement Python part will recognize and adapt the reinforcement to the other side of the column. You can see. Just click to write for this column. And we can, after define our parameter, we can click to this button, create by multi-select, sweep all the column we want to create reinforcement. And as you can see here, the result. I will try to create for more column for you to easy see. Click and sweep on the column. You can see. So as you can see, with one click, we create reinforcement for many columns, and the reinforcement can also adapt to the other side with the same shape of the column. So I have a question here. if I want to define to create the corner reinforcement, corner rebar for this column with the different length, so later we can lap the rebar 50-50. So what can we do? I will show you double click. And as you can see in the general tab, we have option for you to create the corner rebar the same or differently. As you can see here, I will enter to define the corner 2 differently from the corner 1. And as you can see, a new tab for the corner 2 appear. And I will define corner 4 the same with the corner 2. Go to the corner 2 tab. And if you want to define the parameter in the corner 2 the same with in corner 1, just click to this button to get data from the corner 1. And you can see, okay, we'll remove this hook. And I want to lap 50-50, so I will try here the starter length is 100 millimeter, and here you can see the result. The corner rebar will create with different length, so later we can lap 50-50. So as you can see, before I create 3 Python part element, this the 3 Python part element with the same name. So I will show you how to update all of the Python part element with one click. Okay, double click to this and click to update Python part element button here. And as you can see, all the Python part element with the same position name with the first one were highlighted in blue. So we confirm this message here. And as you can see, the Python part element with the same position name were updated. So, any question? If we have a rectangular column here and we want to define to create reinforcement different for the width and the length of this rectangular column, how can we do that? Okay, click to the column reinforcement Python part here. The same for this. And as you can see, here we have an option to define different on the same for all side rebar. So here I will enter same at 1 for the side 2 and define the side 4 the same with side 2. As you can see, side 2 will appear. Click to copy data. And for the length, I will want to create with the numbers of side rebar is 5. So you can see the reinforcement will create differently for side rebar. So next I will show you how to add some extra reinforcement for this column. Firstly, double click to the PythonParts element. You can see here we have a connect bar. Click to add and define parameter. File the same for other side. Okay. Okay, and as you can see, we have the connect part. In some case, we will need this part. Okay, now we show you to add some extra bin. Just remove this connect bar first. So easy to watch. In extra bin tab, we can click to the side rebar at the bottom or right side to draw the extra bin here and define the parameter in the left side here. Okay, as you can see, we have a extra bin here. And next, I want to add some intermediate stirrup here. So for the intermediate stirrup, we will click to start and inside rebar here. As you can see, click start and inside rebar. So we will draw the intermediate stirrup that will tie around this all side rebar, as you can see here. The same for the right side and parameter in the left side. And another extra stirrup I want to show you is the generate stirrup. Firstly, remove the extra bin. Click to remove the extra bin. Click to clear the intermediate stirrup here and go to generate stirrup to draw the generate stirrup. We should click to the side rebar in the bottom side and continue to counterclockwise. Click to the side rebar here. You can see to draw the generate stirrup and define the parameter in the left side. And as you can see here, the result. Okay, I will define. I will change the hook length. As you can see. So that is for reinforcement. Now I will show you how to quickly create section for this column. Just delete all of them. And we have another case. Here, as you can see, we have a column here. And we have a smaller column above this column. So I want to create reinforcement For this under column, the reinforcement will adapt to the above column. So what can we do? Open the interface and we will click to this button, get geometry data. Define the same first. Get geometry data. Click to the under and click to the above column to reopen the interface. And as you can see here in the corner and side tab, the length of the grand rebar were automatically defined. You can see the length and the position of this rebar, corner rebar and side rebar will automatically defined. Okay, I will create reinforcement for the above column to check. Quickly check. Oh, as you can see, the reinforcement for the under column will adapt to the above column, and as you can see, we can avoid the clash between the under and above reinforcement. So now we will create the section for this column. Double click to the column reinforcement PythonParts icon here. Go to section tab to define the section parameter. Firstly, we will type the column name here. Add the title and click to the title button to define the description. As you can see here in the right side, we have a lot of parameter button that you can use to define the description. Like I will add column name, and I will change the font. I want to change the font, so I'll click here. And as you can see, the size here is 10 times bigger than the size in ALLPLAN. So I want to define the size of ALLPLAN is 5 millimeter. So I will type here 50. And the description can be underlined, italic, or not, and bold. You can see after define all the parameter, click to save button to save all the setting. And here, number box for define the distance from the title to the main section. Add a elevation point, add dimension, and add cross section, and define the same way with the main section. And after define, click to this button to create section. Click, and then click to upon each plan view to create section. And as you can see, the cross section will create with the ascending name 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3. So, and next I will show you how to create from reinforcement to section with label for this column. Firstly, I will turn on the model, reinforcement, and section drawing. Open the column reinforcement Python part again. Firstly, I will define the parameter. Okay, we want remove this string. I will remove some unnecessary thing in section tab, like dimension, elevation point. And then we will go to label tab here to define the distance from the label to the section with this number box, and define the label option by click to this button and tick to the label option we want. The same. And after we define the parameter, click to this button to create Rebar and section with labeling. Now we will select the drawing will contain the reinforcement, and next select the drawing will contain section with label, and click to the column to create reinforcement first, as you can see. And now click to a point in plan view to create section with label. So as you can see, it's very quick with our Python part. Next step we will have to do is select all the section and label, and use move command to move the section and label right there. This step will refresh the label and place them at the right position. As you can see, the model, reinforcement, and section were created in different drawing. Now I will show you some more extra information about the column reinforcement Python part. Like as you can see, after we define all the parameters, we can click to this button to say the setting at a fabric file, say where we want, like, okay. And after that, we can use this button to load the data from the fabric file to the Python part is file. And also we have the ability to quickly define the starter length for corner and side rebar. What we can do is click to the calculator button and choose type of rebar to calculate. Like here, I want to quickly calculate the corner starter length and corner rank length. You can see it will automatically calculate the same for the side rebar. You can see. So that is about the column reinforcement Python part, what I want to show you today in this webinar. So if you want to try this column reinforcement Python part, we have an offer for you. Just find in the right side of the webinar, click to the offer and get the free trial license key and learn about the column reinforcement Python part for yourself. And as I said before, we can apply your standard to our Python parts. You just send our standard to us and we will check and get back to you as soon as possible. Or you need more Python part want to be developed, just let us know. So now it's a time for the Q&A session. I will find some interesting question in the chat frame first. So we have an interesting question here. What is the difference between free column reinforcement in ALLPLAN and ALLTO Python part? So wait a second, I will try to answer this question. So I will come back to ALLPLAN software to directly show you the difference from Python part. So as you can see here, the first thing is we have a friendlier interface that contains a lot of buttons and a lot of tabs to define the parameter from startup, corner, side, and more extra startup here, as you can see. And after create, we have ability to double click to reopen the interface and modify the Python part again. And we have a more type of rebar from startup, corner, side, and extra startup. And another one is we can define the same or differently for each corner rebar and each side of the column. And an important thing is we have a the session and label tab to define quickly and more exactly create the session and label for the column. And as you can see before, the model reinforcement and label were created in the different drawing. What is the question from Mr. Bangladesh? What is the difference between creating reinforcement and create Python part as shown in your tool? So as you can see in the first part, when we create with the Python part element and the position name, we have ability to modify, double click to reopen the interface and modify the reinforcement, and also update for the all Python part element with the same position name. And the next question also from Mr. Bangladesh, the column Python part work with 3D object. So as you can see, I will come back to ALLPLAN. So as you can see here, firstly, And you can see here we have a button what will help you to create reinforcement for any 2D object here. Just click to this and click to any object to create reinforcement for this object. So it's all for today. Once again, thank you for your time. And if you have any question or requirement or any Python part that you want to develop, just send to us via my email support@alltosoftware.com. We will check all of your requirements and get back to you as soon as